What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay here with Galactic Grizzly, bringing you a brand new episode of What Happened To. In this week's episode, we're going to take a look at Kyle Massey's career, better known as Cory Baxter from That's So Raven or Cory In The House. His show came to an end in 2008, and after that, we really started to see less and less of Cory Baxter. So, what happened to Kyle Massey? Kyle Massey was born in Atlanta on August 28th, 1991. In case you don't know, his older brother is Christopher Massey, and the two were born into a military household. The two recently mentioned how even with all of the fame that they received throughout their childhood, their dad never let them get close to having a big head. They were very clear that whenever they were at home, they had a very normal childhood. Anyway, because of Christopher's success in the acting world, his most known role being in Zoe 101, Kyle naturally had a foot in the acting door. His early career consisted of appearances in The Parkers, That Was Then, Grandpa's Garage, Becker, and a few others, all of which led up to him landing the role of Cory in Disney Channel's hit show That's So Raven at the age of 12.
Homework, I need the computer. Get away, maggot. Okay, fine. Undermine my education. Step on the hopes and dreams our father has for his children.
That's So Raven was a huge success for the Disney Channel. The show started in 2003 and featured Raven Simone as the charismatic teenage future teller, and Kyle Massey was her charismatic little brother. This show was always on in our household, so I've seen plenty of That's So Raven, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. Running from 2003 through 2007, That's So Raven was one of the longest shows running in Disney Channel's history. Kyle Massey's character, Cory, was most definitely a fan favorite and was one of the most memorable characters from the show. He was so much of a favorite that in 2007, when That's So Raven came to an end, a spin-off was created focused around his character. That show would of course be Cory In The House.
Yo, I guess you outsmarted me, man. I guess I gotta hand it to you.
Cory In The House featured Cory and his father packing up and moving to Washington, D.C. to live in the White House. Cory's dad had just got a job as the White House chef, so they both were now living there. I'm not sure why only the two of them went there without the rest of the family, but who cares. Cory In The House was also a pretty good hit for the Disney Channel. I don't think it was as good as That's So Raven, but it was still a good show nonetheless. Unfortunately, there was a huge TV writer's strike in late 2007, which led to writers from a ton of different TV networks walking out, and from what I understand, Cory In The House got caught up in that mess and was a big reason the show came to an end in 2008. The show only ran for 1 year. Now in that time period, Kyle Massey also starred in the Disney Channel movie Life Is Rough, did some voice acting in American Dragon Jake Long, and some more voice acting in Fishhooks in 2010. Fishhooks ran until 2014, and that was really the last major TV role that Kyle Massey had. Kyle Massey is one of the many child actors who had great success early on and were mostly known for, well, in this case, being on the Disney Channel. But with the notable Disney stars, you got to see them grow up through their shows over the years. We never really got to see that from the fan favorite Cory Baxter. He wasn't the main character in That's So Raven, but when that show came to an end, he was 16, he had his own show starting in 2007, and just before he could really take off through that show and we could see what kind of an actor he was going to be as a young adult, the show was cut short. And for the most part, the rest of his Disney career was limited to just voice acting, which resulted in him never really getting a legit shot in a big production once he became an adult, because we didn't really get to see him as even a young adult. Eventually, he had a few roles in smaller TV shows and movies. He was on Dancing with the Stars in 2010, and in 2014, he was in Senior Project, as well as the Gotham TV series, but by that time, he was 23. And since then, he hasn't really had anything notable, just small roles here and there. Today, Kyle Massey's up to a couple different things. He's a co-host on the Major Waves podcast, which is actually pretty entertaining, so you should check that out when you get the chance. He's also making music now. I listened to a couple songs and did not care for it. So Kyle Massey's adult acting career never really took off. I still point to Cory In The House. If it hadn't been canceled so quickly, maybe we would have gotten the chance to see him develop into more of an established, older actor like we did with Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Zac Efron, etc. But after Cory In The House got the axe, Disney really couldn't make another show centered around Kyle Massey. So unfortunately, good old Cory Baxter never really had a legit chance once he stepped out from underneath the Disney umbrella. If you have any recommendations for who you would like to see featured in the next episode of What Happened To, leave them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to see next week's video, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you guys want a hint on who the next episode is going to feature, bald brothel. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.